So when home buyers start the home buying process, one of the first things that they consider is how much home can they actually afford? So my question for you is, what factors go into that?
That's a big question. And I kind of want to start off with, a very macro view of that. When I started mortgage lending, one of my mentors shared with me an example of a four-legged stool. He said, if you can understand this, you'll understand the dynamics of any loan. And that is, for a four-legged stool to stand, you got to have each one of the four legs. And as far as a loan goes, it's credit, capital, capacity, and collateral.
Okay.
Did I get that right?
You got it. So everyone knows credit, how that is.
That credit is, your credit scores. How have you paid your bills in the past? How have you paid your rent? That's your most important trade line, is how you paid your housing expense. And then you've got your capacity, which that is the down payment. And that is, your savings, your gift funds, anything like that, as far as that you have to bring to the table. And then your capacity is basically what you can afford.
That debt to income ratio.
It's a debt to income ratio. Typically it's 43%. Sometimes it'll go to 45. In some cases, on some FHA transactions, it may go up to 50. We'll talk about that in more detail later. But the thing is that calculation is basically your new house payment plus any monthly debts or student loan debts, car payments, that such, not utilities, and then divide that by your gross monthly income. And that's got to stay below, 43%-ish. So that's kind of how the qualifying process works. And the last part of that was the collateral, which is where the lender orders the appraisal to make certain that you're not paying too much for the property
itself.
And they go and look at the property and make sure that, it's in good condition and such.
So doing the home buying or the application process and finding out what you're approved for, I know for me, when we got our approval, I was surprised that we were approved for twice as much as what I thought that we were going to get approved for. And I wasn't comfortable with that. I wanted my monthly payments to be more in line with what we had been paying in rent, going forward. So
yeah, well, that is true. I mean, what I like to do with customers is let's start with a budget and let's work backwards, so what are the non-negotiables in your budget, things you have to have, and then what does that leave you for housing expense? And, there's a common term that's been used for many, many, many years, and that's called being house poor. And that is when basically all of your budget is going to make your house payment and you don't have anything left to live on.
To go have fun.
To go have fun. And, nobody wants to be house poor. So that is part of the process of strategically planning ahead of time before you find that house, so that everything is all set out.
So if you're curious to know how much house you can afford, how much you could be approved for, you can follow the links below and connect with Bill, make that loan application, or just speak with him directly.